Well, hello.
Hey there, Kristin. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Good.
Good.
Yeah, it's been a good week. It's been a long week, but it's been a good week.
Yeah. That seems to happen around here. We work hard.
We do.
We work hard, yeah. The weeks go by full. They go by full.
Just got back from vacation.
Yeah.
And hit the ground running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you work tomorrow.
And I work tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow we have a really fantastic Halloween program for the kiddos.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's like Barrie becomes Halloween town tomorrow.
Oh.
Yeah. So we're open 10 to 2. And we have Halloween crafting here in the children's room from 10 to 2. We've also got a haunted scavenger hunt through the library with prizes. And we're also going to be raffling off 5 pumpkins given to us by the Rotary Club.
Nice. Yeah. That's so great.
It is.
They
really
look great.
fantastic.
If you don't have these are really, really nice pumpkins. They have nice we're looking at them. That's why I'm looking around.
There are 5 of them, yeah.
Nice stems. They're a nice size. They're perfectly shaped.
They're perfect carving pumpkins.
Yeah, they really are. They're great ones. So if you don't have your pumpkin yet,
what are you
doing for a raffle? Just names, or are they doing $1?
Names and phone numbers. Yeah, it's
just
free.
Free,
yeah,
free
it's
raffle.
Yeah.
Oh, come try to get a pumpkin.
Yeah, come on down. It's going to be great. And like I said, scavenger hunt and prizes. And then if the kids come in costume, a Barrie Partnership is holding once again their costume parade down Main Street. So they're closing off Main Street. The kids are meeting behind Enterprise Alley, lining up, and it'll go right down Main Street. I think it's starting. Lineup is at 2:30, and it's starting at 3. And it ends in Courier Park. And then they have trunk or treat there in Courier Park. And they have a bouncy house. And I think they're doing pumpkin carving. So it's going to be like an amazing
big day. Big Halloween day.
Yeah. It's like from 10 o'clock to 4:30.
Well, because 10 o'clock, because we start here.
Yes, exactly.
We start.
But you don't have to come exactly at 10. You know, you can come anytime between 10 and 2.
Right, because the craft is going to be out.
Absolutely.
And you have something else going on.
Scavenger hunt. Yeah, the scavenger hunt, yes. Yes, the haunted scavenger hunt. So, yeah, it'll be a really
It's
great
one
time.
thing when I can't keep up with you. It's another thing when you can't even keep up with you.
That's par for the course. That's par for the course. I need Rain to help me with that.
Yeah, I know. But no notes today. We're going no notes.
No notes. Well, I do have notes about next week. So that's for this Saturday.
That's this Saturday.
And then going into Halloween week, we have a Barrie Playgroup Halloween concert with Miss Andrea and the Musical Munchkins. So that's going to be during our playgroup on Wednesday, 10 to 11. And she's going to be bringing musical instruments for the little ones. This is gauged towards ages 2 to 6. But, you know, younger siblings will enjoy the music as well. Older siblings, if they come along, will enjoy it as well.
Yeah, and so that's not just for playgroup families.
No.
It's open to everyone.
It's open to everyone.
That's great.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
and do you know what the musical munchkins are?
You know, I've heard great things about them. I haven't experienced them myself, but, you know, a lot of the parents know Miss Andrea.
Are they puppets?
No.
Oh, they're people?
The kids are the musical munchkins.
Oh, that's great. Okay.
So, but apparently she'll be bringing instruments for the kids to play along, and it should be a really fun little Halloween concert.
Yeah,
so.
well, I heard you announce it at Storytime, and people got all excited.
Yeah.
They all knew Miss Andrea and her musical munchkins.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I can't wait. This is, like I said, my first experience. So I think it's going to be really great. And yeah, Playgroup is really excited about it. So yeah, that's this coming Wednesday, 10 to 11. Don't miss it.
Don't miss it.
And then, of course, Thursday is
The next
Halloween
day
proper.
is drum
Halloween proper.
Halloween proper.
Yeah, we have our Halloween costume contest for the staff. And of course we have trick or treating, and I believe that's going to be 4 o'clock to 5:30 or so.
Yeah.
Until the candy runs out.
Yeah.
And we'll have candy on the front steps, and I think we're also going to have candy on
Throughout
all
the building.
floors.
Throughout the building. Yeah.
Send the kids in, and they can come down to the children's room. They can go up to the teen room. They can go to the main desk, and there'll be candy out.
There will be candy out throughout the building.
So it's going to be a great time.
Yeah, and I was going to say we'll be decorated, but we'll be in costume.
We are decorated.
We are decorated.
Yeah, we've got the Halloween tree behind us. Yeah.
I know, the tree of many uses.
Yeah. Well,
He
yeah.
looks great today.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun decorating it yesterday.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, so I didn't miss it.
You didn't miss it.
I
No,
kind of
no.
felt like, wait, I've been in here this week.
I know, yeah. Well, we had to have it nice and Halloween-y for this Saturday. So.
Yes. Excellent. Excellent.
Did you have any,
Well,
any...
that's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. Yeah. Well, you were going to talk about your book club, right?
My book club is reading a book called The Marrow Thieves. I want to say the author is Cherie DeMaline. I'm definitely mispronouncing that, so that is with apologies. I think it's Dimaline. Cherie DeMaline. She wrote a book called The Marrow Thieves.
Like marrow from a bone.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. This was a deliberate pick in celebration of Indigenous Peoples Day, which was this past month, and a little bit of a nod to cultures beyond what we traditionally have celebrated during Halloween, during Thanksgiving, and this change from Columbus Day to Indigenous Peoples Day, sort of opening up a dialogue around that. So everyone is welcome to that. There are books at the front desk for borrowing. It's a very, very well received, critiqued book. I think everybody will enjoy it.
And
so that's November 7th.
7th? Yes.
Thursday the 7th at 5:30.
And do people have to gotten all the way through the book? Made it all the way through the book?
That's your choice.
All right.
That's your choice.
Yeah.
We try to hold back spoiler alerts. We don't really punish everyone for not getting your assignment read, right?
Yes.
It's not school. And so if you don't want to know what happens at the end, we try to be good about that, but best to have it read.
Yeah.
Yeah, best to
Sounds
have it
good.
read.
So yeah, their copy's still at the main desk. So come on by.
And so that's our October, that's our first, probably not our first. We have Senior Day before that. There'll be other events in November, but come back and we'll tell you about November. We're getting Ian through his first week back from vacation, and we're getting through Halloween, and then we'll move on.
Sounds good. Well, that's maybe a good segue into a spooky story.
Yes, I think
Speaking
so.
of reading.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so this one was the one that I selected for us today. Nightbooks by J.A. White. And this was one of my pandemic reads. I read this book during lockdown, which is actually really suitable because, the boy's trapped in an apartment.
Locked
down in an apartment, yes. So, really spooky. I think this was my first experience of a J.A. White book. And the really fun thing is that he's actually a teacher. And I think he's an English teacher. And the main character in this book, Alex, is a writer. And there are actually writing hints and suggestions and tips embedded in the story. So if you've ever dreamed of writing your own scary story, you'll find some really great tips in there. So
Oh, that's fun.
And there's a Netflix movie that came out. Book's better than the movie, I have to tell you.
Yes.
But the movie's actually still really quite good. So, but as often happens in horror, whatever you can imagine, is going to be 10 times scarier than anything they can put on screen.
In the book.
Yeah.
Yeah. What you can imagine.
What you imagine.
What you imagine from the story. Yes. 10 times scarier.
10 times scarier than anything they can put on the screen.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. So Nightbooks.
Let's do it.
So here we go. So you're gonna play Natasha, yeah?
I'm gonna play Natasha.
All right. So here we go.
Does that mean you're gonna be the reader?
I'll be the reader and I'll play Alex.
Okay.
All right. So the chapter 1 is called The Wrong Floor. After his family had finally fallen asleep, Alex slung the backpack over his shoulder and snuck out of the apartment, easing the front door gently home so it didn't slam shut. The 8th floor hallway looked drearier than ever without any sunlight coming through its small windows. Alex lingered on the doormat, fighting the urge to return to his warm, comfortable bed. If you do that, he thought, you'll still be the same old Alex Mosher tomorrow. Weirdo. Freak. Loser. Is that what you want? No, he whispered. Before he could change his mind, Alex started towards the elevator at the end of the hall. During the day, snippets of his neighbors' lives leaked through the thin doors. Muffled conversations, the loud blare of televisions, Mrs. Garcia's son practicing his violin. At this time of night, however, the hallway was nearly silent. The only sounds were a grimy light bulb that buzzed like an angry hornet, and a soft rustling from Alex's backpack, as though its contents were struggling to escape their fate. Sorry, Alex thought, feeling a wave of guilt. I wish I didn't have to do this, but it's better this way. He reached the elevator and pressed the down button on the cracked panel. Far below him, ancient gears squealed away the silence. Alex winced and peeked over his shoulder, hoping that the sound didn't wake any of his neighbors. The stairs would have been a quieter option, but Alex wanted to reach his destination as quickly as possible so he didn't have an opportunity to second-guess his decision. Ding! The elevator doors jerked open with a pained squeak. Smudged mirrors paneled the walls. Alex stepped inside and clicked the B button. The basement was his favorite place in the entire apartment building. It was spooky and weird and packed ceiling high with towers of knickknacks left behind by former tenants, like a graveyard for unwanted items. The most amazing part, however, was the boiler. An iron monster built nearly 60 years ago. Alex called it Old Smoky. It was his destination tonight. The elevator doors closed, and the car began to descend in slow, jerky increments. Alex tapped his foot impatiently. Though his backpack was far lighter than usual, it seemed to weigh him down like an anchor. I'll feel better after they're gone, he thought. Just toss them in the flames and walk away. Don't even stick around to watch them burn. Of course, Alex could have just dumped the contents of his backpack down the trash chute and been done with it. But that seemed cruel. Cremating them in Old Smoky felt more honorable, like setting the body of a fallen warrior aflame. Alex figured he owed them a good death at least. After all, he was the one who had created them. The elevator stopped. The doors creaked open. Alex tilted his head in confusion. Instead of the basement, an unfamiliar hallway stretched out before him. He checked the digital display at the top of the elevator. 4. Must be broken, he thought, jabbing the B button with his index finger. The elevator didn't move. Alex sighed with frustration. Looks like I'm taking the stairs after all, he thought. He stepped off the elevator and headed towards the stairwell. The 4th floor had the same basic layout as the 8th, but it was noticeably darker. Alex glanced up at the light bulbs, wondering if a few of them had burned out, but they seemed to be working fine. For some strange reason, however, their glow didn't radiate as far as it should, as though the darkness of this particular hallway was harder to penetrate than the ordinary kind. Just my crazy imagination, Alex thought, ignoring the cold sensation creeping down his spine. The bulbs are probably old, or... He heard voices. They were coming from the apartment at the end of the hall. At first, Alex thought it was just the people who lived there. As he got closer, however, creepy music rose in the background, and Alex realized that the voices belonged to characters from a movie. He broke into a big grin as he recognized the dialogue. That's Night of the Living Dead, he thought. Alex had been 4 years old the first time he saw the movie. He was supposed to have been asleep, but the strange sounds coming from the living room had piqued his curiosity, and so he had crept out of bed to investigate. His mom and dad were cuddled up on the couch, sharing a bowl of popcorn. Alex hid behind his dad's easy chair and trained his eyes on the television. He had never been so terrified or exhilarated in his life. By the time that his parents realized they had an unwelcome visitor, it was too late. Alex was in love. At the end of the month, his Thomas trains had been exiled to a bin in the basement, replaced by toy monsters, plastic fangs, and a stuffed ghost named Boo. He dismantled his Lego fire trucks and rocket ships and used the bricks to build a haunted house. At the library, Alex insisted on borrowing only the picture books with little Halloween labels on their spines, despite the fact that it was June. Night of the Living Dead had been his introduction to the world of creepy things, and for that reason, it held a special place in his heart. Hearing it now, an overpowering desire to watch the movie again fogged all other thoughts. Alex approached the door of apartment 4E, the static-filled soundtrack reeling him in like a fishing line, and pressed his ear against it. It was one of the earliest scenes in the movie, just before Barbara and her brother were attacked by a zombie at the graveyard. I've barely missed anything at all, Alex thought with excitement. He had, for the moment, completely forgotten about his backpack and his reason for coming out tonight. All he could think about was the movie. He was desperate to see it. If Alex had been thinking clearly, he might have realized that this didn't make any sense. After all, he could watch Night of the Living Dead anytime he wanted to on his iPad. Surely that was a better choice than knocking on strangers' doors in the middle of the night. Unfortunately, Alex was not thinking clearly. His green eyes, usually so sharp and inquisitive behind their glasses, had gone uncharacteristically flat, and his mouth hung open in a baffled expression, giving him a striking resemblance to one of the zombies from the movie. Alex knocked on the door with 3 quick taps. A woman answered almost immediately, as though she had been expecting his arrival.
Well, look at this,
She said, peering down at him.
a visitor.
The woman was in her late 20s, with dark skin and short, spiky hair. She wore all black and a lot of makeup, especially around the eyes. I'm sorry, Alex said, his mind swirling. What am I doing here? I don't know why I knocked. I just heard...
What did you hear?
She asked, leaning forward in eager expression.
Tell me.
The movie. The woman smiled. There were tiny gaps between her narrow teeth, giving her the look of one of those weird glowing fish that prowl the deepest part of the ocean.
A movie.
She asked with genuine curiosity.
That's new. Which one?
Alex gave the woman a strange look. He could still hear the television blaring behind her, the zombie now banging on the window of Barbara's car. Yet she was acting like she heard nothing at all. Don't you know? Alex asked.
Why should I know? The movie's for you, not me.
She opened the door wider.
You want to watch it?
She asked.
I bet it's one of your favorites.
A beam of fear cut through the fog of Alex's thoughts. It's the middle of the night, and I'm having a conversation with a total stranger like it's the most normal thing in the world, he thought. What's wrong with me? He took a step back, intending to leave as quickly as possible, when he smelled something wonderful coming from the apartment. Freshly baked pumpkin pie, his favorite. He breathed in the comforting smells of nutmeg and cinnamon, and all his fear instantly evaporated. This woman isn't a threat, he thought. She's just a nice lady who likes horror movies, like me. The movie's Night of the Living Dead, Alex said. 1968, directed by George Romero.
Ah,
Said the woman.
how intriguing. And was I right? Is it one of your favorites?
Top 10, right between Let the Right One In and The Ring. Alex shrugged apologetically. I like scary stuff.
You sound like my kind of kid.
The woman replied, grinning.
It's crazy. I was just about to kick back and watch the movie when I thought the only thing missing is someone to share this with, someone who really appreciates it. And here you are.
She opened the door all the way, allowing Alex a view of a comfortable-looking couch and a coffee table piled with oatmeal raisin cookies and pumpkin pie. Across from this cozy setup, a huge TV played the black and white images he longed to see. Barbara staggering toward the farmhouse where she would be trapped for the rest of the movie with zombies in hot pursuit. Alex took a step forward, entranced.
Well, don't just stand there gawking, silly boy,
the woman said.
Come inside.
Even later, when Alex knew that he had been under the influence of a powerful spell, he found it hard to believe that he had entered the apartment so easily. At the time, it was like his body was not his own, but a moth drawn to the flickering lights of the television. He crossed the threshold. The door clicked shut behind him.
Gotcha,
the woman said under her breath. She slipped a cold hand around his wrist, and all the energy seemed to leave his body. Alex sank into the cushions of a nearby couch, barely able to keep his eyes open. The woman eased into the chair across from him. The smile had faded from her lips.
What's your name?
She asked. Alexander. Alex.
Which one?
Alex, he said. He looked around the apartment in confusion. The television had vanished, along with the coffee table and pumpkin pie. Where did the TV go? Alex asked.
It was never there.
No, he insisted. I saw it.
The apartment does what it can to get you inside. Different for everyone. A movie is an odd choice. Traditionally, it's some sort of food that draws them in. Kids are always thinking with their stomachs, you know?
I smelled pumpkin pie.
There you go.
It was becoming harder for Alex to focus. The room kept tilting back and forth, like when you first step off the pirate ship ride at an amusement park. He felt like he might be ill. I want to go home, he said.
Obviously, that's not going to happen, Alex.
He turned in his seat, moving impossibly slow, hoping to make a mad dash for the door. Except the door had vanished. The place where it had once stood was nothing but a blank wall. Where did the door go? He asked groggily.
Away,
the woman said.
Don't worry, you won't be needing it anymore.
But that's not possible, Alex said. Doors don't just... they can't.
Haven't you figured it out yet? She
asked, grinning with pride.
I'm a witch, just like in a storybook.
She touched a single fingernail to his forehead. And
you, little mouse, have fallen right into my trap.
Alex tried to stand, but his legs had turned to jelly and he collapsed to the floor instead. A wave of darkness crashed over him. Shall we read another one?
Yeah.
All right. So, chapter 2 is called The Voice at the Door. Alex woke up in the lower half of a bunk bed. He had no idea where he was or how he had gotten there. He lay perfectly still, his body frozen with fear. Gradually, the events of the previous night returned to him. The elevator, the apartment, the witch. Except she's not really a witch, Alex thought, his mind racing. Witches aren't real. She's just some crazy lady who thinks she's a witch. But then, why did I see a TV that wasn't really there? Did she hypnotize me or something? Alex clutched his blanket as a question of more immediate concern popped into his head. Who's sleeping on the top bunk? He stared at the iron bars holding the mattress in place above him, listening carefully for breathing sounds. When he didn't hear anything, Alex slid to the floor and gently placed his foot on the bottom rung of the ladder connecting the two bunks. In one swift movement, he popped his head over the upper railing. There was no one there. Just an old mattress without any sheets or blanket. Alex let out a sigh of relief. I never knew a bunk bed could be so scary, he thought. The rest of the room was small and plainly furnished. There was a standing mirror in the corner and 2 doors. The first one Alex opened led to a closet, which was mostly empty except for some children's clothes hanging from the rod. Flipping through shirts, pants, and dresses of various sizes, Alex remembered something that the woman had said the previous night.
Traditionally, it's some sort of food that draws them.
Them, he thought, with a sickening feeling of dread. I'm not the first. Of course, if he accepted what the woman had said at face value, that meant the apartment was capable of reading children's minds in order to lure them with the appropriate bait. Like a smarter version of the candy house in Hansel and Gretel, Alex thought. In my case, a scary movie did the trick. He stared at the clothes before him. But what about these other kids? What brought them here? The smell of chocolate? A friend's voice? No, Alex said. That's impossible. There's no such thing as magic. He slammed the door shut with such ferocity that the empty hangers tinkled together in response. Even if he rejected magic as a factor, it still left the disturbing possibility that he was just one of a long line of children who had slept in this room. And if he followed that train of thought to its final stop, Alex found himself facing an even more disturbing question. If he wasn't the first kid that she had taken, what had happened to the rest of them? Before his overactive imagination could supply any morbid answers, Alex crossed the room to the second door, nearly tripping over his backpack in the process. This door was normal in every way except that it had 2 keyholes instead of 1. The upper keyhole was the usual kind, but the second bore a strange crescent shape. Probably a special lock, he thought, to keep anyone from escaping. Alex was so certain that attempting to open the door would be a dead end that he gasped when the knob turned in his hand. She must have forgotten to lock it, he thought, with a faint glimmer of hope. Sucking in his breath, Alex opened the door as slowly and quietly as he could. The next room looked identical to the first. Simple bed, single closet, standing mirror in the corner. Alex stepped inside, wary of squeaking floorboards, and gently shut the door behind him. The moment he did, the door vanished and became a regular wall. What? Alex asked, backing away in shock until he tripped over something on the floor. His backpack. It can't be, he said, shaking his head. That's still in the other room. After he checked the contents, however, there could be no longer any doubt. Either his bag had somehow teleported from one room to the other, or something even stranger was happening. Trembling slightly, he opened the closet door. Children's clothes hung from the rod. They were identical in every way to the ones that he had been examining just a few minutes beforehand. It's the same room, Alex said in astonishment. He opened the door with two keyholes and looked back and forth between the rooms, searching for the slightest difference. There wasn't any. He could even see the door open on the other side of the second room, and then an endless series of identical rooms beyond this, like reflections in a maze of mirrors. Curious what would happen, Alex lifted his backpack and watched its twin rise into the air like a prop in a haunted house. It's a magical prison, he thought. There's no way to escape. Alex shut the door and took a seat on the edge of the bed. The wheels of his brain spun madly, trying to process the giant wrecking ball that had just tilted his world askew. Magic is real, he thought, his head in his hands. He stayed like this for a long time, until he was struck by a second idea. Rising to his feet, Alex screamed as loud as he could while jumping up and down and pounding his fists against the wall, trying to make as much noise as possible. Help! I've been captured by a crazy woman! Call the police! This place may be magic, but it's still inside a New York City apartment building, he thought. Not some house in the middle of the woods. Someone will hear me. Someone will... The walls began to shake. As a lifetime resident of the East Coast, Alex had never experienced an earthquake. What he was seeing and feeling right now, however, floor vibrating, walls shaking, was just as he had imagined an earthquake would be. Terror squeezed the air from his lungs. At any moment, Alex was certain that the floor would crack open and swallow him whole, or the ceiling would collapse, burying him beneath a mountain of rubble. And then it was over. What was that? Alex thought. He fell to his knees and waited for his equilibrium to return. That couldn't have been an earthquake, not in New York. But then, what was it? Alex heard a scratching noise and saw the doorknob start to turn. He had just enough time to notice that a key had been inserted into the crescent keyhole, not the normal one, and then the witch entered the room.
Why were you screaming?
She asked.
This apartment is enchanted. There could be an entire orchestra playing in the living room right now, and no one beyond these walls would hear a single note.
She was wearing a flowing black dress with black boots and black lipstick. Her long black nails came to 10 sharp points. Around her neck hung a beetle encased in amber. It was black. She sure looks like a witch, Alex thought. All she's missing is a broom and a pointy hat. A dozen keys dangled from a ring in her hand. Some were the typical kind. Others were white and didn't look metallic at all. There was an earthquake or something, Alex said.
That was just the apartment settling itself. It happens from time to time.
Really? Alex asked. This felt pretty... The woman vanished before his eyes.
Boo!
She whispered in his ear, now standing behind him. Ah! Alex screamed and stumbled backward, nearly losing his balance.
That was amazing, wasn't it?
The woman asked, looking pleased with herself.
You want to see it again?
Alex shook his head, unable to speak. She's a witch, he thought. A real, live, honest-to-goodness witch. Please let me go, he finally managed. The words little more than a whisper. I won't tell anyone about this, really.
Alan, right?
She asked. Alex.
Not Alexander.
The woman said, remembering.
I'm Natasha. The thing of it is, I can't let you go. Not now, not ever.
Why not? Alex asked. And then in a voice that sounded impossibly small, he added, Are you going to do something bad to me?
I'm a witch,
She said.
You're a child. We're not going to play checkers. Ever read any fairy tales?
Alex nodded.
Then you know how it is.
She sighed with exasperation.
I really don't have time for this today. I'm already late for an important meeting.
Natasha looked him over, her eyes lingering on his stomach. She smirked.
You don't look like much of a worker. A few too many ice cream sundaes, perhaps. But then, what should I do with you?
You could let me go, Alex suggested.
Oh,
Natasha said.
You're funny. Unfortunately, that's not the same as being useful. Whatever. If things don't work out, I'll just add you to my collection.
She brushed her hands together in a cleaning up motion.
Problem solved.
What does that? Natasha checked her watch and let out a high-pitched scream.
Now you've made me even later than before. You've only been here a few hours and you're already a problem. Not a good sign, Alan.
She slipped through the door and slammed it shut behind her. Alex heard the bolt click home. Without any windows by which to judge the passing of time, the hours smudged together, making it difficult for Alex to determine how long he had been trapped inside the room. 4 hours? He wondered. 8? There was no use trying to escape. He had been back and forth between the two rooms at least a dozen times. He didn't bother screaming anymore. Alex believed Natasha when she said that no one could hear him. After all, he had seen her vanish before his eyes and magically teleport across the room. Being able to soundproof her apartment didn't seem like much of a stretch. Alex cried for a little. He tried not to, but he couldn't help it. He felt cold and scared and alone. And a little disappointed. All his life he had loved scary stories, and now he was inside of one. It should have been fun. The problem was that witches Alex had read about in books were story scary. This was real scary. It was a big difference. What is she going to do to me when she gets home tonight? Alex wondered. His imagination, as usual, leapt to the darkest conclusions. She might eat me. Or boil me in her cauldron. Or chop me up into ingredients for a spell. Gruesome images flashed through his mind, each worse than the last. Alex wanted to shut them off, but it wasn't as easy as turning a valve or flicking a switch. All he could do was wait it out. Finally, he heard footsteps. At first, Alex thought that Natasha had returned, and his heart began to drum in his chest. This is it, he thought. Only instead of unlocking the door, the mysterious visitor hesitated just outside the room. A long shadow stretched beneath the crack of the door. Hello? Alex asked. Is somebody there? He heard faint breathing behind the door. Please, he exclaimed. She's going to be back soon. You have to help me. The silence stretched on and on. Alex was starting to wonder if his imagination was getting the best of him again when he heard a girl's soft voice.
She likes stories.
The floorboard squeaked as the shadow beneath the door retreated. In moments, Alex was alone once again. What a beginning, huh? So, if you want to find out what happens next, check out Nightbooks.
Great choice.
Oh, thank you very much.
Great choice.
Yeah. So it's like a combination of Hansel and Gretel and maybe 1001 Arabian Nights.
Yeah.
Scheherazade, you know?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah, and there. So Alex has to tell a scary story to the witch every night in order to survive.
Oh.
And so there are a whole bunch of short stories in this book as well.
That's what comes next.
From his Nightbooks, from his notebooks.
That's
what comes next. So I hope that you guys enjoyed our reading today. You made a wonderful Natasha. You did a great job.
Ooh.
Yeah, very spooky.
Yeah.
So
I should have been in costume.
Oh.
I should have had like some witch hat or something.
You know, the voice was the costume.
The voice was the costume. That's why we read, right?
That's why we read.
Imagination gets sparked.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, very spooky, very Halloween-y.
Yep. We'll be at you again with some more spooky Halloween-y. If you missed our dates in the beginning, rewind the tape, listen to the dates. We have something going on tomorrow.
Yeah. Yep.
Right?
Yes.
Tomorrow and then Halloween.
Yeah. Tomorrow, is our big craft extravaganza, craft party, and scavenger hunt.
And then trick-or-treating on Halloween.
On
Halloween proper, as you say.
Halloween proper, yes.
As you say.
Yes. Absolutely.
And what we didn't tell you was that this is Frankenstein Tea, a podcast from the Aldrich. We try to keep you updated on things happening at
Let's
the
do our
Aldrich.
Introductions now.
Yeah, let's tell you what we're doing. Our goal is to introductions.
I'm Ian Gothier, the children's librarian.
I'm Kristin Bauman. I'm the director at the Aldrich. I was going to start, and so I'll do it now, with saying what a great time I had at the talent show last night.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I very graciously was asked to be a judge for the elementary, middle school, Barry City. Does Barrytown go to that school too?
Which one? Spalding?
Elementary and middle.
No, it's just Barry City.
Just Barry City. So I went to
Yep.
Barry City Elementary and Middle School. I was a judge along with Mayor Lozon.
Oh, wow.
And our dear friend Shauna Trader from Rainbow Bridge.
Mm.
And the three of us were the judges, and we had a blast. It was so fun. The kids were awesome. There were, I think, about 10 acts from elementary school, and I think it was a dozen from the middle school. All of them did a great job. Like when I tell you all of them did a great job. They rehearsed and they practiced. That was all obvious. They were creative. They did like speed drawing and splatter paint and math facts and all kinds of creative things, which in the end was extremely difficult because we had to pick winners.
Yes.
I was like, how did I came here to have fun and now I'm stressing out. I have to pick winners.
I was going to ask you, what were the highlights?
Oh my gosh. Well, I will say I thought the gymnastics were excellent. We gave a first prize to a second grader for her gymnastics routine.
Wow.
It was very polished. She had definitely practiced her routine. And that was a second grader. So that's the elementary school. We gave the other prize in elementary school to hula hoopers, who were excellent with their teacher. Their teacher got them through their routine, but they were.
Is that the gym teacher there?
I don't know that. I don't know if it was. Yeah, I don't know that.
We used to get hooping here at the library all the time, and it was so popular. I'd love to get hooping back here.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
That would be great.
But you need to know someone, you know?
Yeah, because I can't do that.
I can't do that.
That was my judge's comment at that moment. Like, that is something I never learned.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I could do the arm.
Yeah, there we go, yeah.
Maybe. But the hoopers were great. And so those were tied for second prize, and then first prize in elementary was a young kid. I think he was also second grade, and he sang a Jack Black song called Peaches.
Oh,
do you know Peaches?
He printed the lyrics here at the library.
Oh, so you know?
Yes, I know exactly who that was.
He was
That's
excellent.
great.
Oh
That's
my
fantastic.
gosh, he was excellent, and he came in with a little gelled up, hair and some shades. I mean, he was.
Did he look like Jack Black?
200 pounds difference,
Yeah,
but
right.
Similar at 200 pounds. He was great. So
That's
he won.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm so glad to hear that.
Yeah, and then in middle school, there was a young woman. I don't know what grade you were. Forgive me for not remembering, but she did a Veronica Salt from Willy Wonka soliloquy.
Veruca Salt.
Veruca.
Yeah.
Veruca Salt. We gave her first prize.
That's great.
We gave her first prize, and she came running up to get her first prize thing, and with her golden ticket.
Oh, that's great.
And she's 4th or 5th grade, and I'm handing out the prize, and she said, "I've never won a talent show before."
Oh, that's great.
It was great.
She's gonna be, probably starring on the Spalding stage someday.
Yes, exactly. We're handing her a prize for that. And who did we give second prize to? Oh, a great piano student who played a beautiful piece.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, piano, quite difficult. It was somewhat of a jazz piece, so it had different, syncopation and things that he really did very well on. And what was I can't do the last prize. Maybe I can. I think it was more gymnastics, but I'm not. Oh no, it wasn't. It was a woman, and she had written her own song, and she sang her own song.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and she was probably 7th or 8th grade. Well, at the older end of that school.
Was she accompanied, or did she play their own music herself?
She sort of hummed her music.
Oh wow!
And sang her lyrics, and then hummed a little, and sang, and hummed, and she did.
Oh wow!
Yeah, she was fabulous, and we gave her a prize.
So
everybody needed a prize last night,
and
that will be my feedback the next time they start to put that together. Because really the kids all did great. It was really hard to give prizes, but
I was going to say that's actually there's a great challenge to that, even not having an accompaniment, because you have to keep your own intonation.
I know. And she wrote it.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And so she was
talent.
and it was excellent.
Yeah.
So she definitely got a prize. But really, the other kids were great. And it was kind of fun for me. I do teen night here at the library with the teen librarians, and the kids had come from Spalding to help with bring out the gymnastic mats, pick up the gymnastic.
And you recognize some of them.
I recognized some
great.
of them, and that was so fun. And I recognized some of the kids that were performing, and that was fun. So it was a great night.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And 200 people in the audience. Wow. They filled the gym.
Yeah.
The bleachers were filled. The sides of the gym were filled. The PTO was there selling snacks. They had a successful night. I loved that because, when it's October and you get that many parents into a building for their kids, that that's a good start to a school year.
It is.
Yeah, it felt really great to be a part of that and to share in that and to be there. We had a fun time.
Well, that's brilliant.
I gotta say, we had a really fun time. Yeah.
So I assume that this is going to be an annual event now. Right?
I hope
we'll probably
that
do it next October again.
I hope it's an annual event.
That's
Yeah, it
fantastic.
should be.
Yeah.
They had a great turnout and a great showing. And the high school kids were good. They were charging up all the mics and making sure all the sets got picked up and brought back and forth and
That's a great kind of
practice.
collaboration. I was going to say.
Well, collaboration
between the schools.
and really important because 22 acts is a lot of acts. And
it is.
They were the ones who kept them moving.
Yeah.
Getting everything going for each set.
Yeah.
Veruca Salt there and her golden ticket, right down to they had 3 middle schoolers doing speed drawing, and so they had to wheel out the easels, and they did a great job.
They had something with slime, right? I saw a video about that on Facebook.
Slime, the slime bubbles.
Slime bubbles.
She was very good. She was slime. That was a great act, and as the librarian in the room, I'm like, oh, slime.
Slime, yeah.
Slime. But she did a great job on her table. The roadies, the crew, got that out of there. But about 20 minutes later, they have to make an announcement. Please don't play with the slime in the building.
That's great.
So somewhere the slime had gotten kind of like eaten up and was it was very funny. It was very funny because we were sitting kind of close, so we couldn't always hear through the mic. And I was like, did they say the slime?
The slime.
On the loose? Yeah, the slime got on the loose.
The slime has become sentient. And
They had cheerleaders. The cheerleaders were great. They were doing, holding hands, doing cartwheels.
Yes. Oh,
so
wow.
One-handed cartwheels, holding hands.
Wow.
Yeah, cheer squad. Very, very clever. Very clever. Very well done. I'm going to give a shout out to our friend Adam Jacobs. You did a great job on that. Thanks so much for inviting me.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully next year we'll get to see it again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll go whether I'm a judge or not.
I
I think it was great fun.
Was it during the day? During the school day?
No.
Or
It was
in the evening?
6 o'clock last
6
night.
o'clock in
Yeah,
the
and
evening.
it went till 8:30.
Well,
Yeah.
next year I definitely want to go. That would be amazing. Yeah.
Oh yeah, hilarious. Ventriloquists.
Oh really?
With playing recorders.
Yes. That's great.
Yeah. It really was.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah, they did this one stand-up comic.
Oh, yep.
Stand-up comic. Another act was called Tech Team, and the roadies, the high school roadies, brought out a tarp, opened up a bunch of Ziplocs, threw some, cell phones and stuff down there, and we sat, the judges sort of sat forward like, wow, they're going to put those cell phones together? They didn't. They cracked them all up. That was them being a tech team, breaking everything.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, it was hilarious. Hilarious. Banging things with hammers, breaking things open, playing on the floor. Yeah. Very, very clever. Very, very clever. Yeah.
We have a little visitor over there.
Yeah, we're done. That's okay. Welcome the visitor.
Welcome the visitor. Yeah.
So on Frankenstein Tea, we also do. We like to share with you a little mental health check-in. So we encourage you to get outside. What a gorgeous day!
It is. It's a beautiful.
And I'm going to say my mental health was definitely on the rise after that talent show.
Oh, good. I'm sure. Yes.
So mental health, when you can get a good giggle in.
Yes.
Go for it. So watch something funny, do something funny, get outside, breathe in some fresh air, have some tea, and keep reading.
Listen to a good book. Yeah.
Yeah, listen to a good book.
Well, yeah, I guess until next week.
Stay safe.
And keep reading.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming.